Hi, everyone. In this episode, I've got a special guest, and the guest here is Cat Doyle. And Cat and I are going to talk about automation and consent and how these things fit together and how to do it in a way that doesn't really feel overcomplicated or icky. So it's a real pleasure to have you here, Cat.
Cool. Thanks, Lou. I'm really happy to be here.
Excellent. So, how about we start with you giving us a little introduction and tell us what exactly do people come to you for? What kind of help do they need?
So I basically help people to sell more through email.
Yeah.
So that might be like on a single session, it might be someone coming to me on Zoom and we might meet and have a chat about their email newsletter and looking at the content and the format and changes that they can make to get more clients. But what I really, really love doing is working with the automation. So I used to be a software developer and a systems architect. So that sort of like planning, customized journey things really like that really appeals to me. It just, ticks all those boxes as far as I'm concerned. So what I love to do is actually sort of talk to people, work out what they're trying to get to, map
Mhm.
out something that's going to tick all the boxes and hopefully build in some psychology stuff along the way as well. I also like building in fun interaction as well. So that's to make things like more engaging as well. That's something I'm sort of leaning into a little bit more, but it's still quite a new direction for me. Yeah, and I guess the other thing as well is like segmentation and personalization. So a lot of people I feel don't actually know that much about it, so they're not really taking advantage. And so that's
Mm.
something that we really can actually do through automation as well. We don't just have to have one path through an automation. There can be like many, many different paths as well. But usually people need help to map that out and build that.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, the whole process can seem really daunting. And there's also a lot of things that people don't know that they don't know. They don't really know what the capabilities are. They don't know what's possible. So that's really good
Yeah,
that you can help them out with that.
cool.
So is the most fun part for you just like setting up that automation or mapping it out?
It's probably a mixture. I mean, it's probably mapping it out if I'm honest. I quite enjoy the fun of setting it up as well. Sometimes you might have to like really think through how it's going to work, and then the logic can get a little bit tricky. So I kind of like that because it challenges my brain a bit.
Yeah.
I also do software testing as well. So that sort of side of it is something that just kind of appeals to me, like building something that's really solid and just works really well. But then I guess also you need to go in and actually like see how they're performing as well. So you might need to actually tweak things as well.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would be really good if it was a just set up and forget thing, but there occasionally are times where you'll have to test and reiterate things based on their performance.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that's usually a case of just having a look at the little individual steps, and you can usually see where there's a problem. So, I don't know, say if you're building like a quiz-based funnel, you might find like people are just getting really stuck on one of the questions. So,
Yeah.
it might just need a simple reword because it's
Yeah.
like people are not getting their head around it, or it might even be a case of just skipping that question because it's holding people up.
Hmm. Yeah, so true. I mean, a bug in the system could be something technical, or you're right, it could be just a word in a question is making people pause and not want to continue with the
Yeah,
process.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So you mentioned the word consent to me, and I wanted to get your take on what that means in marketing.
Okay, well, I mean, as I know you know, consent is just permission. So it's just getting permission, basically. So when it comes to email marketing, obviously opt in. is a really big thing, like opting in rather than opting out. I
Hmm.
mean, I know in the States you can actually do like an opt out, but for me, that's always been a big, big no. And here in Australia as well, you can actually like email people who are clients who or people who've inquired about your services. But I also think that's a big no-no as well.
Mm.
Like, I think you just need to ask people, and I think it's okay to ask people to join your list, and then
Hmm.
it's up to them whether they want to or not. Of course, I mean, if it comes to actually like emailing someone, like as a personal thing, like a follow-up, then I think that's absolutely fine. But just like the bulk emailing thing, you really need to get consent. And I
Mm.
guess like it becomes like a little bit more fine grained than that as well. So say if you've got like a launch sequence going out, or like maybe it's like a Black Friday sale and you're sending out more emails than usual, then at that time you may want to actually ask people to either opt in to that sequence or definitely have a way for people to opt out. So again, that's quite easy to do, although it's probably slightly technical, but it's
Mm.
not like it's certainly not impossible to do. So, what do you feel about that, Lou? Do you like people to be able to opt in or opt out when it comes to those kind of like more intense promotional periods?
Oh, well, yeah, I feel like I agree that should be an opt-in thing. I guess here in Australia it's a bit tricky because like you said, it's, people just do it. It's not technically illegal, but it is, I think it's a bit rude
Yeah,
to
yeah.
not
It's
to not
kind
get
kind of like
consent.
yeah, it's kind of like morally wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I guess because like from a consumer point of view, like consumers don't know what the rules are, so they just accept that junk mail is a thing and they're gonna get it either way. And
yeah,
I feel like, by having these conversations about consent and what we can do with these things, it's sort of like, for me, it puts my mind at ease knowing that there are choices, and from a business owner perspective, you don't have to bombard people with messages. And from a consumer perspective, you are allowed to have that freedom and permission to sign up to a newsletter or a sequence or whatever.
yeah, 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 absolutely. And I guess the other thing that I find really annoying is like because there's like a trend now to SMS marketing as well.
Oh, yeah.
The number of times you'll be asked for your phone number and you have to give it, and there's no like fine-grained control over whether you
Mm.
like do I like I might be perfectly happy to get email, but I definitely don't want someone sending me an SMS. Like to me, there is nothing more annoying than getting a marketing SMS. And I really hate that. And I know a lot of people feel like that as well.
Yeah, I
And I
don't
know you
get
yeah,
it.
yeah, I know. And I know you can opt out. Like I remember like there was one time where I'd opted in like without really meaning to. And to opt out I had to send a message to like a US phone number, but my phone at to the plan that I was on wouldn't actually let me send a message to the
No.
US. And I literally had to upgrade my phone plan so I could opt out. I mean, that is not ideal.
Okay, no, that is totally rude.
Yeah.
That's totally rude. Yeah, I haven't been in quite that situation, but I did make a purchase online a couple of months ago. And, when you, in the part of the process, when you put in your details like name, address, and, it's so they can mail the item to you. And there's phone number in there. And usually it says, enter your phone number in case there's a problem with your delivery or the courier needs to contact you or whatever. So sure, that's a normal thing. That's fine. And I didn't actually realize that they were taking my phone numbers so that they could send marketing over SMS to me. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like mildly rude. Sorry, I don't think I signed up for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. They often just don't actually ask. They ask for your phone number, but they don't tell you how it's going to be used. So, yeah.
Oh gosh.
And
All right.
I guess also like there might be a case for sending like a appointment reminders by email as well, but
Mm.
that's separate to sending marketing messages. And I guess when we're talking about our newsletter, so they might be value packed, we're usually wanting to sell something at least some of the time as well. So we need the express permission to do that.
Mm. Yeah, so true. And like honestly, there are some newsletters that I actually like receiving. I get newsletters from my dentist and from my GP clinic, and like I appreciate getting this mail because they're telling me, genuinely what's going on with them and, health
Mhm.
reminders, and that's all important to me. So yeah, I consented to that marketing and I appreciate what they're sending. It's not just rubbish that goes straight to the junk folder in the bin.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I have some email newsletters that I love receiving as well. I actually look forward to them. And when I see them, I'm like, oh, I wonder what they've got to say, and I'll read them with glee, really.
Amazing. Yeah, so true. Yeah, so um the next thing I wanted to ask you is it sort of ties in with this consent thing, but do you think this is why some people don't like selling?
I guess it could be. So, like, if I take a non-email example, if I have someone book a call with me, so they're booking a call where it says interested in working with me, maybe want to see if we click before you go ahead and make a booking or whatever, something like that. Or they might reach out to me and ask for help with their email marketing. Then I'm very, very happy to talk to them and very, very happy to talk about my services, what it costs, and basically do the sell. Because I guess I'm coming from a point of where I know that they want it. So by booking that, they've given me the consent, essentially. But if I was in a different situation where I was having to talk to them, maybe like it's a free call and it's the end of a free call, then I might really not feel comfortable in selling. But
Mm,
in that situation, I think, you can ask for the consent as well. So you can say, um, would you be interested to know about this?
mm,
And go that way about it. So like that's like in person. But I think when it comes to writing, it's kind of a little bit different because if they're there on your list, they've given you consent in the first
mm,
place to email them. But I mean, you know as well as I, we make decisions all the time based on the emails that we get. Like, are we going to actually read them and open them? Are we
mm,
interested enough? Often the person that's sending them is the first thing we might look at.
mm,
And then from there, it's a case of, yeah, are we interested? If we open it, then we might just skim over it and see.
mm,
And then if it is something that we're interested in, we will continue to read. If not, we'll just skip out of it. If we really don't like what they're sending us, we'll unsubscribe. And so I think that you have to probably put the ball a bit more in the court of the people who are reading
yeah.
because you haven't got that two-way dialogue going on, if that makes sense.
Mm,
But I definitely think, going back to your question, I think that is why people can feel yucky about selling. But I think there might be more to it as well. I think there might be like um, just having that feeling of like, oh, I don't really feel good about selling, like just feeling like it's a horrible thing, the whole used car salesman.
mm, yeah.
But I think if you can think about it as helping people, like that's the reframe that
Mm,
you need to do in your own mind, essentially. Like we have an art gallery as well, and people come in and they look at the art, and like more than 9 times out of 10, they will not buy. They're
mm,
there to look and enjoy the art. And usually, what I do is I watch them, and if they're engaging with the art, I'll go over and I might have a chat with them, and I might like tell them a story about the artist or talk about the qualities of the artwork, and that might naturally lead into a sales conversation, but I'm sort of like I'm always looking for the cues from them,
mm,
like do they want to take it in that direction. But as I was saying, in writing, you can't really do that. So I think you just kind of have to put it out there. Be yourself as
Mm,
well. Like sometimes I think it can help to maybe to think about like your favorite client, and how you feel when you're actually working with them and you know that you're helping them. You can see,
hmm.
if you're doing face to face, you can actually see their face light up when you solve a problem for them, when they get an aha. And
Yeah.
so just thinking about it from that point of view, I think can help to take that ickiness away.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Come from a place of helping them with their problem, not, oh, I got to get this sale.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all about helping at the end of the day. And
Mm,
I think, like, we're both heart centered people. I'm sure the people who listen to your podcast are also heart centered people. So it's all about helping. And the
yeah.
selling thing it's secondary.
Mm,
But I
yeah.
guess at the same time, it's probably important to sell because if you want to stay in business, you need
Mm,
to actually be bringing in the money. And so maybe that can also help as well, like thinking about, well, if I don't sell anything, then I'll have to go out of business, then I won't be able to help people at all. So,
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and this is a good segue into the next question, which is about how to get someone who's in your audience on board with your opt-in. Now, I understand that, it is a mechanism that some of us need to convert a cold audience member into a paying client. But how do we do this in a connected and heart-centered way and actually, get something that they'll agree to participate in?
Yeah, good question. So, I mean, for me, I actually like the idea of the opt-in and get like taking it slowly,
Mm,
essentially. You're not like, you're not just trying to sell them on day one. You're like letting them get to know you. And so I guess there's a few things. So the first thing is actually have something that actually helps them.
mm,
That's really important. And then if it genuinely helps, then there's a chance that they will actually want to download it. Um, and I guess also making it like something that's quite quick as well, like a quick result for them as well. And I think the other part of the puzzle that people sometimes miss is making it something that's related to what you do as well.
mm.
Like I know I've done that before in the past. I've made opt-ins and then I think, well, hang on, this is not really very closely related to what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So and then you just like, just end up ditching it and starting again. Um, so that's all quite important. And then I guess it boils down to maybe like, the landing page in terms of getting more sign-ups. You'd be wanting to look at things like, not too many form fields, so you're not being intrusive, you're just asking for what you need,
Hmm.
making sure you've got that permission,
Hmm.
um, which can be a checkbox. It doesn't have to be in Australia if your audience is Australian. If you're like marketing to people in the EU, then you do actually need that.
Yeah,
But also like telling people what they're signing up for as well. Like what else are you getting when you
yeah.
get the opt-in? So that's all really important as well. I mean, the other thing that I like to do is just have like a little mini privacy statement underneath,
Hmm.
so it's just like, look, we're not going to sell your information. We're not going to share it. We're not going to spam you. You can opt out whenever you like. Although I would say it's good not to mention the word spam because they've proven that when you say no spam, it actually stops people actually, it puts that idea, it plants the idea in their head, and then
Yeah.
it sort of like works against you. So I like to just say opt out anytime, something like
Mm,
that. Yeah. Yeah. And then when it comes to like, making the connection, I think it's slowly, slowly.
mm,
I mean, obviously we can have like a welcome sequence on the back end of that that sort of starts to deepen the relationship. I think some people really go in too hard too soon,
Mm.
and they will ask for the sale,
Yeah.
too soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, I signed up for something like last week, which I sort of just, I like the branding. I thought, yeah, I'm interested. I'll grab this. And then they spent like the next 5 emails basically asking me to book a call with them.
Mm.
And I thought, like, I don't know you. I'm not ready to book a call. And then they sent me like, this is your last chance to book a call. And I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm subscribing actually. And I did. So going in too hard too soon is not good. I think it's more a case of softly, softly, and letting people know that you're there if they want to take it further.
Hmm.
Just that that's an option, and I think it can be worded quite softly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, we do need people to pay us so that we can stay in business and keep doing what we do. It doesn't have to come from a place of any sort of urgency or scarcity, like time's running out, I'm about to book out. Things like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to use that sort of verbiage, that sort of language.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. In this case, it was obviously completely false. It was like, okay, so like, what? It's 5 days after I booked in, and suddenly you just don't have any space for anybody. Somehow, I don't think so. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and also at the end of the day, like I am looking for clients who appreciate what I do and are happy to work in the way that I work. And I'm not connecting with people. I don't want people to deal with me because I had the cheapest price or because I just happened to be available. Like I appreciate having this open and deep connection with whomever I work with.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
can only get that
absolutely.
way by slowly creating that trust over time.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean,
Mm.
when people join my mailing list, I don't actually try and sell them at all. I'm just focusing on trying to get that connection happening. And that's like, I'm sharing stuff and I'm strategic about what I'm sharing. But the other thing that's really important to me is actually getting a two-way conversation going.
Mm.
So I will encourage people to actually reply, and
Mm.
and I will ask them in multiple different ways, not like in a pushy way every single email, but
Mm.
just having regular opportunities to actually start a one-to-one conversation.
Yeah.
And that way I think they realize you're a real person, you get to know them, and
Hmm.
things can grow from that. Sometimes, not always. But like you said, like we don't need to be in a massive hurry.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'm glad we're on the same page about this.
Yeah, cool.
Amazing. So the next thing I wanted to ask is something that I come across is people asking how many emails should your automation include? And as a flow onto that, like I do often get asked, should I do a quiz? Should I do a PDF? Should I do this or that? And I think those are the wrong questions to ask, and I believe you agree with me on that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, like, it just has to be taken on a case by case basis. There's sort of like best practices, I guess, or guidelines
Mm.
that we could follow. Um, like you might say you might want your welcome series to be somewhere between 3 and 10 emails, but that's like quite a wide range.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's like, it's looking at what your purpose is, where the people are as well, and where you're trying to get them to. And then also like, like what you're offering, like the type of offering that you have. And also like, like is it a crowded marketplace? Is it
Mm.
something that's brand new that people have never heard of? So all of those kind of things I think have to come into it as well. So there's definitely no one size fits all.
Mm.
Um, I mean, when it comes to, yeah, like what you should build as well, I think the format is actually it's sort of by the by, really.
Yeah.
I mean, some formats do provide work better than others generally, but still, it's kind of like the transformation that you're helping people to get with your freebie. That's the
Mm.
important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get your customer or your client or your patient from A to B so that they can get themselves A to Z. The way that they get A to B is going to be different, and there is no one magic email sequence or PDF that can be copied and pasted that will do the thing for you. It's going to be a case by case thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think the other problem with copying and pasting is then it just doesn't sound like you, or it can sound stilted, or it just like you, especially if you've cobbled things together from many different places,
Mm,
it's like, there's no sort of one coherent voice as
mm,
well, if
yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I was just yeah, thinking about an example someone could do is, let's say um you're a naturopath and you want to help people with their health problems. Um it's not about whether it's a quiz or a PDF you give someone, but say you give them a quiz. Their problem is they don't know whether they need to see you yet. So the quiz helps them decide, okay, are these symptoms are these meaningful enough for me to go and see someone? And then the follow-up to that could be like how you would approach the problem if the answer to the quiz is yes, you should see someone. So I guess in other words, what I'm saying is it's not about like the mechanism you use, which is the quiz. It's not about
Mhm.
the number of emails you send after that. It's what goes on and how you're delivering that makes a difference. That the right amount of questions to ask, the right amount of emails to ask is enough to get that person in.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It varies, doesn't it? It
Mm,
varies for every single business and even for different services and even actually for the different people who are taking the quiz or whatever it is as well. It will be
yeah.
different for them as well.
So is there anything else that you think is important that we should know about automations?
I guess one thing that does occur to me is like going back to the sort of personalization and like segmentation, things like that. As I was saying, a lot of people don't realize that you can even do that. I
Mm,
think that really does actually help to you to be more effective in your email marketing because
mm,
you can send messages to specific groups of people. Like, so say taking your naturopath example, if we know that a certain group of our audience struggle with sleep,
mm,
we can send them things that will help them to sleep better.
mm,
And then maybe there might be another group of the audience that sort of struggle with anxiety, but they might benefit from different advice. And that can all that stuff can actually be built into your automations as
mm,
well. So quizzes are actually quite good because they do actually allow you to gather some of that information as you go. And
mm,
you can have like pure segmentation questions
mm,
mixed in with the other stuff as well. Um, so yeah, I think that's probably about it. But I guess it's it's really about being authentic as well. Like one thing actually that often comes up as an objection that I hear is people worrying that if they've got an automation, it's going to make them sound like a robot, basically, because it's automated.
mm.
But of course, that's not the case at all. It's a case of like, writing to sound
Yeah,
like you and
yeah,
just, yeah.
yeah.
And if you're doing that, then people just don't generally pick up on the fact that it's an automation unless it's really obvious, like the lady who kept asking me to book a recall with her over and over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I agree. Yeah, that those are some incredible insights, Kat. Thank you so much. Yeah, this has been great. I think it's about time for us to wrap up, but before we close up, could you let us know if there's a way to perhaps take a next step with you, or if they want to continue, if someone wants to continue this conversation, where would you like us to go?
Well, I'm happy for you to go over and connect with me on Instagram. You can send me a DM over there. So I am cat and co dot digital. And if you want to hop onto my email list, I've got a freebie which actually helps you work out email the format of
Mhm.
your opt-in and also what to put in it as well as we already mentioned. That's
Yeah,
actually much more important. So you can grab that at catandco.digital/freebie, and hopefully Luke can share those in the show notes for you.
I absolutely will share them in the show notes.
Cool.
And that's an amazing, that sounds like an amazing freebie.
Yeah, it's actually quite long, but it's done in a way that if you don't have much time and you just want a quick win, you can basically just take the first couple of pages, and if you want to go deeper, you can carry on. So it's quite flexible.
Oh, that's so good.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for actually asking me to come on as well, Lou. It's been a real pleasure to chat with you and, two like-minded people meeting and having a conversation is always really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way. Thank you so much, Kat.
Thank you.